Alrighty, welcome to episode 6 now. I'm pretty sure it's 6. So this one's going to be over the shape tool right down here. You can see. So go ahead and open up Photoshop, bring out a document, or even just a plain white one. You know, it doesn't really matter at this point. But just go ahead and open that, and I'll see you in just a second. Alrighty, starting on the shape tool, what I'm going to do is open up a new layer real quick. That is not a very pleasing color. Let's do this. There we go. So, the shape tool right here, or well, it says rectangle tool, but if you click and hold, you'll see that there is a rectangle tool, rounded rectangle tool, ellipse tool, polygonal tool, line tool, and a custom shape tool. Loads of options, shapes, colors, and flavors. Alrighty, starting off with the rectangle tool, we're going to go ahead and select that. Basically, there's two ways you can do this. The first way is to select where you want it. So I'm going to say right here. I'm going to click, and this little options box is going to come up, and it's going to say width, height, and then do you want it from the center. So basically, this is going to say I can purposefully make the exact size shape that I want. This is super helpful with the laser, because the other way doesn't give you this luxury of understanding how big it is. So I'll do this really quickly. Let's do that. Let's do 100 by 100. And we just made this little square. So before I show you the second method, I want to go over this little box right here. So this right here is your properties box for the square that you've just created. Now these four sort of blue squares represent that it is selected right now. So we are currently editing this shape. So right here we have our width, our height, and our X and our Y. Well, X and Y. Either way. So this is our sizing. This little link right here, if I select that and you get this dark gray color, that means that whatever I change on this side is going to be the same on this side. But if I unselect that, then it means that I can change either of these individual. So with it selected, that means if I put 200 on this side, it is going to enter. It is going to change it on this side as well. You saw it went up in scale. But if I unselect that and I change this to 100, then it will not scale out. So I'm going to change that really quickly. So moving down, what we have here is our fill and our stroke. So this is the same as these right here, but just in an easier way to understand. Anything with this that is white with a line, this red line through it, means that there is no fill. And no fill, you can see that we have just an outline and nothing inside. Now this is black right here, so you can see that we have a black border around it. I mean, it's blue right now because it's selected, but if I deselect, there will be a black border. So let's go ahead and click on this right here, and we'll give it a fill color of pink, just to make it bright and shiny. And then we're going to click on this, and we can make the outline whatever color we want. I'm going to keep it black just for the example purposes. And then this little line right here where it says 1px, this is the stroke size. So if I go up, you see it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the stroke basically means outline. That's more or less. You know, the stroke of like a pencil lead or something like that, that means like the thickness or like the hardness that you draw it with. So it's going to be sort of the same concept. So make it about here, decent sized. And then we'll go over here and you can do the stroke options. So I can make it dotted. You can make it little dots. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to keep it solid just for the demonstration purpose of it. And then you can sort of show your own custom down here. You can play with that on your own time, but I'm not going to really go over that. Moving down. So these are corners. Different things you can do to the corners. You know, you can round them. So as you can see, I'm using the same option like we did with the size of the text. What you can do is hover over these boxes right here and it will get these double-sided arrows. Click and hold and move it to either side and it will round it to a perfect circle, or you can change it so that it just bends in a little bit. I'm going to keep it at 0. As always, this link chain right here, this infinity thing with the link, will unlink and then relink them together the same as this does right here. These ones down here will basically make it different options for how it shows up on the page. So this, I I always leave it here just because that's what I'm intending to do. These, again, you can play with on your own. I'm not going to do it right now. So now when we're done, we can just exit out of this and just select by grabbing this move tool here, and boom, we have our first shape. The other way to do this that does not give you that luxury of understanding what size you want is selecting this, clicking and dragging to make the shape. And I make this any size and shape that I want. So I'm going to make this big old rectangle right here. And then we're graded with the same exact thing as before. I'm going to change the color of this one. There we go. Now we have two shapes. Now, you can always select this by clicking on it and then hitting Control T. Control T will select it. But simply holding down after I click it and holding Control, if I hold down the Control key, it'll show me the size of the actual thing itself. Super cool. So hit Control T, and we'll get these little bars on the outside where we can edit and manipulate the size. And as we drag it, it'll show us what size that we are changing. So just a nice little feature. Another thing I want to show you, if you're doing this option where you click and drag and size it yourself, if I click that, hold down the Shift key, and then drag, it'll make it a uniform shape no matter what size you do it. So let's go to another shape real quick. Let's go to the ellipse tool. This is a little easier to understand on the ellipse tool, so I'll do it in just a second. So right now with the ellipse, I can make any sort of ellipse shape that I want. You can try and get it a circle. That's about a perfect circle, pretty close. You can make an oval, so I'll make an oval real quick. Let's color this real quick. Beautiful. So this is our green ellipse right here. We can move that over here. Now if you want to get a perfect circle, this is where the Shift key comes in. So what I'm going to do is grab the ellipse, hold down Shift, and drag. And there we go. Perfect circle. Once you let go of your mouse, then let go of your Shift. And then you'll be greeted with this option right here. There we go. Now we have a circle. So somehow I created these on the same little layer here, so they are linked just like these are. I will show you how to unlink those when we go to the layers, but for now, I just want you to practice making different shapes and colors, scale them, do what you got to do, just so that you understand. So going in here, the next one is an interesting one. We have the polygonal tool, or polygon tool. So as you could imagine, you're going to create a polygon of some equal size. Now holding down the Shift key will not work on this one because it's already a perfect polygon. So we just create a little polygon there. But this one also works if I click, just like we did with this one. If I just click, now it says number of sides. So this one's cool because you can change it to any number of sides you want. So if I were to do 15, I just made 15 sides right here. So that's kind of fun. So I'm going to do it again. Click down here. And then let's say 3. I assume all you smart kids can say 3 sides is what? A triangle. There we go. There's our triangle. So you can play around with this as much as you want. It's super interesting. We can also choose star. And we can indent the sides by certain percentages. And we can get different star shapes like this, because it'll take these little ends right here and we'll bend them inwards towards the center. So let's do that one more time, and we'll do 10 sides. Boom, there we go. We have a 10-sided star. So go ahead and just practice this. Pause the video and just do as many shapes as you want. Try the different options, doing preset sizes, the click to size, and then the click to drag, and then use that Shift key so that you get comfortable with it, because you're going to be making a lot of shapes when we do things for the laser. So I don't believe there's much more to explain when it comes to these. You know, most of these are something you can just do on your own. Let's see here. I want to check the side. That's about it for the shape tool. There's a few different things you can do, like, let's see here. if I select that, so if you hit Control T after selecting it, so here, let me redo that. So I'm going to click this, and as you can see, if I go over here, all of my layers will show up for the different things that I've created. Yours would look the same, I hope. So what I'm going to do is take the selection, the move tool, and I'm going to click my big triangle or rectangle right here, and it's going to say I've selected rectangle 2. So now what I'm going to do is hit Control T to select it and change. And then now I have all of these different options here at the top. So this is going to do the same thing as that little options panel that shows up is going to do, but gives it just to you in a little bit different format. So you can do this. This one also gives you an angle. So you see this little tool right here, it looks like a little acute angle, or an eye, whatever you see, I guess. And then you can change the angle of how they look. So you see that? I can rotate it either direction. Super cool. There's also these right here. I honestly don't know what these do. Never have. But, you know, you can play with this as much as you want. So here's another fun one. Let's see, I'll undo that real quick. Control T. So this right here is a warp tool. So this basically means that once you select it, all of these different pins will change the X, Y, Z, all those different coordinate plane sort of situations. And you can drag these points on the side to make the shape really whatever you want it to be. So for some odd reason I'm making the Windows logo right now. But just kind of something fun. You can fold this. See how it acts like a piece of paper? It's like I'm folding this over. So you can go ahead and either negate what you just did, or you can say, check, that is exactly what I want. And now we have this really interesting shape. You can do a whole lot with these shapes. I really encourage you to explore. Really just understand what it is that you're doing, just so you're a little more comfortable once we move onwards to the actual laser files that we'll be working with. But that's about it for shapes. That's about all I got. So the next video we're going to be jumping straight into layers, because this is really important to understand when working with the laser files. And then I'm also going to give you guys some explanations on what it is that works best on the laser. So like always, hope this was helpful. Save your work so you can come back later and play with it and reference it. We're going to be starting a new document in the next video, and I'll show you how to do that. But for now, play as much as you can, learn as much as you can, and I will see you in the next video.